In an instant, a world that was completely open to us became incredibly isolative. Everyday interactions became virtual occurrences, habitual life became unfamiliar. COVID-19 took away a key part of our human nature, human interaction and connectivity. As designers, engineers, and artists, our goal when designing is to improve the human experience and condition. The pandemic has highlighted where designers need to improve when developing our built environment, especially when it comes to many of our outdoor spaces. As humans, we are inherently programmed to operate in a hybrid of environments, constantly switching between the inside and outside spaces. However, at the height of the pandemic, many were struggling to find the correct balance while abiding proper guidelines. Outdoor spaces were being overpopulated, and indoor spaces were too isolating, with many of our middle ground spaces left highly unappealing. Oclim was designed to respond to the current condition of the world, to create a space that concretizes the in-between spaces that exist around us. Oclim, meaning occupying liminal space, references natural and biological forms, where concrete is used to encapsulate voids to create a network of organically derived pods for human occupation that represent a permeable in-between space. With most of our world being digital, the need for human interaction and connectivity is as pressing as ever. Oclim intends to provide shelter within an inside space with the perceived freedom and escape of the outdoors. Oclim began with casting forms to fit the scale of the human hand and were examined with microscopic cameras that allowed us to understand the interior structures. With most of our world transitioning to a digital interface, it was crucial for us to build this experience physically because there are certain qualities that cannot be rendered or digitally fabricated. Understanding the physical properties of the formwork, concrete, and voids can only be fully comprehended in person, while digital means can help fabricate the final structure. Using digital softwares such as Rhino and Grasshopper, we were able to test out various formwork strategies to minimize unnecessary waste. The digital model supplemented analog production methods, allowing us to cut the parts needed for the formwork with little to no errors. Assembly of the formwork was streamlined by developing seamless joints that interlocked to accelerate the construction timeline and decrease the need for any extraneous hardware. The interlocking joints allowed for easy assembly and disassembly of the formwork, providing us accessibility in transporting the formwork from the location where parts are being fabricated to the final spot where concrete will be poured. Once the formwork was assembled on site, the members were wrapped and layered with various plastics and fabrics to create a shell which will be used to contain the concrete. Various methods were tested to determine the best materials to create the shell, ranging from wood veneer to fiberglass molds. The use of burlap and 20 mil plastic provided the best flexibility with the most rigidity, providing us a strength of almost 2,000 psi. To form the network of voids, a determining factor was how voids would be removed from the concrete. Items such as inner tubes and old tires were considered but posed a risk on the off chance either item were to burst under the pressure of the concrete. There would be cubic yards of concrete wasted. Garbage bags filled with sawdust provided an ideal material to create voids because if a bag were to burst, the concrete will be able to form over the sawdust instead of collapsing entirely. Creating a structure that allows individuals to occupy liminal space is more crucial than ever. The full-scale concrete structure is intended to allow individuals to experience a fully renewed perspective of daylight to enhance their experience outdoors. Through means of digital and analog fabrication, Oclim challenges traditional construction methods to create an organic structure derived from natural and biological forms in order to provide the occupant with an indoor space with the perceived freedom and escape of the outdoors.